Let's talk about the most critical foundation of influence, attraction, and obsession, your worth. Because let's be real, if you don't know your worth, how can you expect anyone else to? The way people treat you is a direct reflection of what you allow, what you accept, and what you believe you deserve. If someone isn't valuing you, it's because on some level, you've communicated, whether consciously or unconsciously, that they don't have to. Most people walk through life waiting for others to validate them. They think if this person likes me, I must be important. If they choose me, I must be special. If they stay, I must be worthy. That mindset is backwards. That's the mindset of someone who chases, who pleads for attention, who settles for crumbs instead of demanding the full feast. And let me tell you, no one becomes obsessed with someone who operates from a place of desperation. Obsession starts with perceived value, and that perception begins within you. Think about the rarest things in the world: gold, diamonds, art, by the greatest masters. Why are they valuable? Because they're not easily accessible, because they're unique, because they are treated as something special. No one throws a diamond on the ground and begs someone to pick it up. The diamond, and so must you. The problem is most people don't recognize their own worth. Instead of seeing themselves as the rare, one-of-a-kind masterpiece that they are, they look in the mirror and see flaws. They focus on what they lack instead of what they bring to the table. And worse, they let other people define their value. If someone ignores them, they think, maybe I'm not interesting enough. If someone mistreats them, they wonder, maybe I don't deserve better. If someone leaves, they question, what's wrong with me? Let me tell you something, nothing is wrong with you. The issue isn't that you're not good enough. It's that you've been allowing people into your life who don't have the capacity to recognize your greatness. And when you don't truly believe in your own value, you attract people who don't believe in it either. But here's where everything shifts. When you decide that you are enough, when you stop waiting for someone else to give you permission to feel worthy, when you stop handing over your self-esteem like it's some fragile thing that can be broken by someone's opinion, true worth is an inside job. It's not about what someone else thinks of you. It's about what you think of you. It's about walking into a room and knowing you belong there, not because someone invited you, but because you choose to be there. It's about looking at your reflection and seeing power, potential, and value, regardless of who texts you back, who compliments you, or who gives you attention. And let's talk about attention for a second, because this is where so many people get it wrong. Attention is not the same as value. Just because someone looks at you, flirts with you, or shows interest doesn't mean they actually see your worth. True value isn't about fleeting moments of admiration. It's about respect, consistency, and deep appreciation. Think about the people who truly captivate the world, the icons, the leaders, the people others gravitate toward. What do they all have in common? It's not just their looks, their charm, or their success. It's their energy. It's the way they carry themselves. It's the unshakable belief they have in their own worth. They don't beg for attention, it follows them. They don't chase validation, it naturally comes to them. Because confidence is magnetic, self-respect is intoxicating. And when you own who you are, when you stop seeking approval and start radiating certainty, people take notice. They start looking at you differently. And the ones who once overlooked you, they start paying attention. This is where people get confused. They think making someone obsessed with them is about playing games, using tactics, or manipulating emotions. But the real secret? It's about stepping into your power so fully that people can't help but be drawn to you. It's about becoming so deeply aligned with who you are that others feel lucky just to be in your presence. And that kind of power, it doesn't come from outside of you. It doesn't come from someone else choosing you. It comes from you choosing you. So if you want someone to value you, start by valuing yourself. If you want someone to be obsessed with you, start by being obsessed with your own growth, your own happiness, your own evolution. The moment you stop needing them to see your worth is the moment they start to. If you want to make someone obsessed with you, the first thing you have to do is stop chasing them. Stop prioritizing them over yourself. Stop giving them all your time, energy, and attention when they're giving you nothing in return. The reason they don't value you is because they don't feel like they have to. They assume you'll always be there, always available, always giving. And when something is always there, it's taken for granted. Think about it. Why do people obsess over what they can't have? Why do they desire what's just out of reach? Because the human brain is wired to crave challenge. It's wired to pursue, not to appreciate what's handed to it on a silver platter. When something is scarce, it immediately feels more valuable. When something is uncertain, it immediately feels more exciting. Right now, the reason they don't appreciate you is because they don't feel your absence. They don't know what life is like without your presence, your attention, your effort. They assume you'll always be an option, and as long as they believe that, they'll never feel the urgency to pursue you. So what do? You shift the power dynamic. And here's the truth. Power in any relationship lies with the person who is less emotionally invested, the person who is willing to walk away, the person who is not afraid to lose the other. Right now, if you're the one waiting for their texts, rearranging your schedule for them, and making them a priority when they only see you as an option, then you've handed them all the power. You've made it too easy for them to assume you'll always be available. That stops today. The moment you shift from chaser to chooser, everything changes. Instead of sitting by the phone hoping they reach out, you go live your life. Instead of prioritizing them, you prioritize yourself. Instead of adjusting your plans to fit into theirs, you make plans that excite you, whether they're part of them or not. And here's what happens next. They notice. At first, they might not react. They might assume you're playing a game. But when they reach out and you don't immediately respond, when they see you doing things without them, when they realize they're no longer the center of your attention, that's when they feel the shift. Because suddenly, the dynamic they were comfortable with, the one where they had all the control, is disrupted. Suddenly, they don't know if you're still waiting on them. They don't know if they still have your attention. They don't know if you even care anymore. And that uncertainty, that's where obsession begins. People become obsessed when they feel a loss of control. They start thinking about you when they're no longer sure they have you. They start valuing you when they feel they might lose you. But here's where most people mess up. They pull back for a day or two, hoping for immediate results, and the moment the other person gives them a little attention, they go right back to chasing. They text back immediately, they over-explain why they were busy, they go from mysterious to predictable in a second, and just like that, the power is handed back. Shifting the power dynamic is not about playing a short-term game, it's about making a permanent change in the way you operate. It's about recognizing that your time and energy are valuable and not everyone deserves unlimited access to them. It's about understanding that the people who truly value you will step up when they realize they're losing you, while the ones who don't, they'll disappear. And that's exactly what you want, because obsession isn't created by convincing someone to like you. It's created by showing them what life feels like without you, by making them realize that your presence was never a guarantee, it was a privilege, by letting them sit in the discomfort of not knowing where they stand with you. And when you master that, that's when the chase flips. Let's get something straight. People are not obsessed with what's predictable. They don't crave what they fully understand. They don't fixate on what they can easily control. Obsession is born out of uncertainty, intrigue, and the unknown. Think about the things that keep you up at night, the messages you reread, the situations you overanalyze. Are they the ones where you always knew exactly what was happening? No. They're the ones where there was some level of unpredictability, where something or someone made you question, wonder, and want more. That's the power of mystery. Right now, if someone isn't valuing you, it's likely because they feel like they already have you figured out. You're predictable. They know what you'll say, how you'll react, when you'll respond. They don't have to put in any effort because they already know the outcome. You'll be there. So what do? You introduce uncertainty. The human brain is wired to seek patterns. It wants to categorize things into safe, familiar, and predictable boxes. The moment something breaks that pattern, it demands attention. It creates intrigue. It forces focus. That's why unpredictability is so powerful. It disrupts expectations and forces someone to re-engage with curiosity. Start by changing your patterns. If you always reply to their texts immediately, start taking your time. Not to play games, but to create space. If they expect you to always initiate plans, stop. If you've always been overly available, start prioritizing yourself and your own schedule. Let them experience the shift. One day, be warm, engaging, and deeply present in conversation. The next, be slightly distant, not cold, but busy, occupied, focused on your own world. Let them feel the contrast. Let them wonder what changed. Because here's the truth. People don't obsess over what they can predict. They obsess over what keeps them emotionally engaged. The highs, the lows, the excitement of not knowing exactly what's next. That's why relationships that are too stable, too routine, too predictable often lose their spark. There's no challenge, no mystery, no reason for the brain to stay hooked. And let's be clear, this isn't about being manipulative. It's not about playing games or being inconsistent just for the sake of it. It's about cultivating depth and complexity in who you are. Because real attraction, the kind that lasts, is not about someone knowing everything about you on day one. It's about them constantly discovering more. That means you need to develop new layers of yourself. Try new things, expand your interests, have a life outside of this person. Become someone who surprises even yourself. Because the more dynamic you are, the more compelling you become. Now here's where things get interesting. Intermittent reinforcement. This is a psychological principle that explains why people become addicted to uncertainty. Think about gambling, social media, or even dating apps. What makes them so addictive? It's not constant rewards, it's random, unpredictable rewards. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Sometimes you get a response, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you get attention, sometimes you're left wondering. That's what keeps people coming back. When someone knows exactly what they'll get from you, they stop craving it. But when there's variety, when some interactions are deeply engaging and others are more distant, it keeps their mind locked in. They start thinking about you. They start wondering what you're doing. They start feeling the pull. They start chasing. And the moment you become something they chase, instead of something they expect, the power shifts. If you want to make someone obsessed with you, stop focusing on them and start focusing on you. The most powerful magnetic force in the world isn't a clever text, a calculated response, or a mind game. It's someone who is completely in love with their own life. Obsession isn't about manipulation. It isn't about tricking someone into wanting you. It's about becoming so undeniably valuable, so captivating, so full of life that people can't help but want to be around you. When your energy is high, when your purpose is clear, when you are truly thriving, others feel it, they sense it, and they are drawn to it. Think about the people you've been obsessed with in your own life. What made them so captivating? Was it their looks? Maybe for a moment, but long term, it was something deeper. It was the way they carried themselves. It was the confidence, the passion, the undeniable feeling that they didn't need anyone else to validate them. Because let's be real, neediness repels, abundance attracts. When someone feels like your world revolves around them, they pull away. They sense the desperation, the dependency, the lack of fulfillment in your own life. But when they see that you are whole on your own, that you are living an exciting, meaningful, and passionate life without them, suddenly they crave to be part of it. And this is where most people get it wrong. They think, if I give this person more attention, if I do more for them, if I prove how much I care, they'll finally see my value. But that's not how it works. No one becomes obsessed with someone who is too available, too eager, too dependent. They become obsessed with someone who has something bigger than them. So the real question is, what are you building? What excites you when you wake up in the morning? What are you passionate about? What is your mission? Because if you don't have an answer, that's where your focus needs to be. Not on them, not on trying to make them see your worth, but on becoming the version of yourself that is impossible to ignore. Start by leveling up in every area of your life. Physically, take care of yourself. Work out, dress well, carry yourself with confidence, not because you need to impress anyone, but because when you feel strong and attractive, your energy shifts, and people feel that shift. Mentally, read more, learn more, expand your mind. Intelligent, well-spoken people are unforgettable. Emotionally, become unshakable. Stop reacting emotionally to every little thing. When someone sees that you don't need their validation, that you are perfectly fine whether they give you attention or not, they start craving your approval instead. Socially, build an incredible life outside of this person. Have friends, have adventures. Be the person who is always doing something exciting. No one wants to chase someone who is sitting at home waiting for a text. When you elevate yourself, you elevate the way people see you. Suddenly, you're not just someone who is there hoping to be noticed. You're someone who demands attention simply by existing in your power. And here's the kicker. When you truly embody this mindset, you stop caring whether they're obsessed with you or not, because you are too busy enjoying your life. You are too focused on your own growth, your own success, your own happiness. And that's when the magic happens, because the moment you stop chasing, the moment you become the person who could take them or leave them, is the moment they start chasing you.